young criminal defense attorney, Neil Rockind.
If you're looking for a legal podcast, a podcast where a lawyer comes on and talks about Supreme Court cases or Court of Appeals cases or things like that or new statutes, just turn this out. Turn me off. Do not listen to this podcast. That's not what we do here. This is killer cross-examination. This is a totally different way to approach podcasts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a ride, like a magic carpet ride. We're going to go way back. We're going to tell stories. We're going to visualize. We're going to actually experience. I'm going to take you back in my world into how I came from a young kid, an awkward young child, an awkward young boy, all the way from Detroit to West Bloomfield to Andover, and developed into a trial lawyer. I'm going to peel back some layers of the onion. I'm going to pull the curtain back, and I'm going to show you that unlike what you probably think or what you probably have in your head, that somehow, like in the movie Yesterday, like there's some magic thunderbolt and an accident and all the lights go out. And like in Yesterday, he wakes up and he's the only guy that happens to know the Beatles songs. Everybody else doesn't know the Beatles or doesn't know anything about Coke or doesn't know anything about Harry Potter. That's not how we trial lawyers. That's not how we get here. And what I'm going to try to do along the way is we're going to talk not about the law. Sometimes we will. We'll talk about cases, or we'll talk about my cases or my experiences or the battles. We'll trade war stories. I'll show you some war wounds. I'll show you scars from my battles, having fought cases all over the place. But I want to make this something different. I want to be real. We're going to have a real conversation, a real discussion, you and I hope you can learn from me, and I hope to learn from you. And I hope this experience, my offering my voice, me offering this opportunity to do this killer cross-examination is going to allow you to see how I developed my style as a lawyer, how I built my career as a lawyer, and how I came to this point in life. And it's going to be eye-opening. It's going to be different. It's going to be real. If you're looking for normal, then you should walk over to your laundry room and you should look at the settings on your dryer. If you want to have a conversation about like the ups and downs and the advantages and disadvantages of cases, case law, things like that, I'm not for you. What I want to do is I want to have a heart-to-heart. I want to be real. I want to use my life experience as a way to sort of teach you how I became the lawyer I am today, how I got to this point, and how I developed my style, my approach. I want to take you back to my youth. I want you to picture a young, awkward, had a big gap in the front of my teeth, and my teeth were diagonal. They didn't even fit well. When I played the clarinet and I would actually bite down on it, it actually left a mark in the clarinet because I was so awkward. And I had odd hair that my mother and father would try to brush, but it would never quite go the right way. They would try to run their fingers through it, and it was wavy, but it wasn't wavy, and it was thick, and it only looked good when I came out of the shower. I want to take you back to the days as I began to develop the parts of my personality, the parts of me, the parts that would ultimately end up growing and evolving into the trial lawyer that I became. And that's going to require me to do a lot of introspection, to do a lot of honest assessment. But I want you there with me along the way. This is not going to be your average regular podcast. Some people use their podcasts and use their discussions to amplify their law firm, to build their law practice, to beat on their chest and shine their own apple and talk about how awesome their practice is. And they may even have their law firm sponsor their podcast. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to approach this podcast, this conversation with you in a way that you can hopefully learn from me. I hope that when each and every podcast I do, whether they're 15 minutes or 20 minutes or a half an hour or an hour, I hope I take you back to a point in time in my life, or to a point in time in a case, or I take you back to a point where I was working up a case, and I want to take you behind the scenes. I want to show you how that particular moment in time shaped me, hurt me, upset me, motivated me. I want you to be with me in the classroom when I was young and I couldn't actually write. I want you to be there with me when I excelled, and I want you to be there with me when I failed. I want to have these experiences with you where we actually talk about how we trial lawyers are born, because we aren't born. We're born like a diamond is born after tons of geological pressure. Hundreds of years of pressure form diamonds, and it takes years to dig a mountain to find the diamond in the rough. That's how we are made, and that's how we come about. We're going to talk about all kinds of things in this podcast. I'm going to help you as you learn and as you come to get to know me a bit more. You're going to see how my cross-examination style became branded or known as killer cross-examination, because it's real, it's honest. We're going to tell stories and share stories and tell war stories and share war stories. I'm going to try to show you my wounds and my scars, and I hope to point out some wounds and scars in others. We're going to talk about some legal issues. We're going to talk about some current event issues. It's just going to be a free-for-all. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's not going to be a script in front of me. I'm not going to have some question and answer where I'm sitting here and you can hear me read the question and the answer. You're not going to hear pages flipping as I flip through a script or I start checking off with the pen things that I want to talk about or things that I hit. There's not going to be an outline. This is unscripted. This is real and live, and that's exactly what killer cross-examination is. And over the course of time, I hope that you end up seeing how it is that I've been able to develop this style of cross-examination and develop my style of lawyering. There are times when I'm going to get passionate and times where I'm going to be sympathetic. There are times where I'm going to be absolutely on fire and angry, and there are going to be times where I'm going to be calm and when I'm going to be analytical. You're going to learn about my views on issues. We're going to talk some law. We're going to talk some current events. And ultimately, what you're going to see is that what killer cross-examination is a way to actually bring out the truth, to tell our story, my story. Not the story that they're giving us or the story that they're telling us. Like witnesses come into the courtroom, whether they're a witness or an expert or a police officer, and they have their story. We know that there's another story. That's the story that we're going to get at. That's the story that we're going to tell. That's the story that I'm going to tell. And along the way, I may open up some eyes. Maybe some of you will tune in. Maybe some of you will become very interested. Maybe some won't. The goal here, though, is not to help shine my own apple as a lawyer. It's really to help give you an insight as to how I got here, how we got here. And if along the way you pick up some nuggets or some jewels for yourself about what to do or what not to do, or you have some interest in learning how I did something or how I didn't do something, or why I did something or why I didn't do something, perhaps it'll motivate you. Maybe it'll motivate you to do something different. Maybe it'll motivate you to emulate me. Whatever it is, I hope to motivate you in some way, shape, or form. But we're going to sit here together and I'm going to share with you my stories, my style, my approach. And you're going to see in the end why killer cross-examination, how I came about it, how I live it. And you're going to see how I use it every single day to take apart the stories that other people tell me and to get to what's really going on, the real truth. Now, why is that important? Because I want to be honest and raw with you. I'm not interested in puffery. I'm not interested in trying to fly my own flag, the Rockind law flag. Sure, I could do that. I could fly my own law firm flag here. I could fly it high and mighty. I can keep banging the desk, and I could repeat over and over again. I could have a little mantra in the background talking about Rockind law, Rockind law. Well, I'm not going to do that. That's not what this is about. I want to share with you, I want to show you, I want to help you feel how it is that I came to this style of lawyering. And if you're someone along the way who's thought to yourself, I can't get there, I'll never get there, I'll never make it there, then stick with me. Tune in, because you will. Killer cross-examination is a new approach to cross-examination, and it's going to be an amazing ride. I'm going to take you on the ride of your lives. Just tune in. I'll talk to you real soon.